Comic Book Savant, episode 408. Welcome back to the Comic Book Savant podcast. I'm your host, James Harris. This episode is going to just be more of a conversation that I'm going to sit down and have with you guys. Just about right now where my head is at personally, and in regards when it comes to the podcast and all the other things connected with the Comic Book Savant brand going into this new year of 2019. And just want to say Happy New Year to everybody before we get into all the other logistics. I want to wish everyone a happy and prosperous new year. And I guess, well, let's get into it. As always, I'd like to give a shout out to my friends over at the Comics Podcast Network. If you like what I do here, you want to listen and hear or find more like-minded individuals that cover comic books, the genre of comic books, and all the attached things, definitely check out the Comic Podcast Network over at comicspodcast.com. I've been affiliated with them for over a decade now. It's just a great resource if you're looking for content to consume when it comes to podcasts for comic book related and geek related material, or if you're an up and coming creator and you need help getting your show out there. It's a good network to join on. They have a Twitter feed that they will update, so it helps you start getting your footing to grow your followers as well. So it's definitely a good network if you're looking for content or if you're a creator of content to get involved with. So if you have a moment, check out the Comics Podcast Network over at comicspodcast.com. Last but not least, I'd like to give a shout out for the sponsor for this episode, which is InStockTrades.com. They're one of the best places you can go online when you're looking for any type of collected edition or bound edition comic books, everything from Marvel Masterworks, DC Absolute Editions, manga, oversized editions like Action Comics 1000, any kind of bound edition you can pretty much find over at InStockTrades.com. They have discounts ranging from 35%, 42% up to 50% off with their deals of the week. If you happen to be a U.S.-based customer and you place an order of $50 or more, you get free shipping within the U.S. Unfortunately, if you live outside of the U.S., you still get all the great savings. You just don't get the extra bonus of the free shipping with your $50 plus order. But they do have some of the most competitive shipping rates around when it comes to international shipping, so you can still save a ton of money, so don't let that deter you. So if you have a moment, check out the site at InStockTrades.com, and I thank them for their continued support of the podcast. Now, back to what I wanted to talk about. And it's a funny thing because this was not even what I intended to record today. But I woke up feeling a certain kind of way, and I was having a conversation with my wife about, this certain things. And I was like, I really need to communicate this stuff with you guys. I think, in the past as a creator, you worry about how much do I share with the community and the people that support me and the people that listen to me. And I felt like last year, 2018, was a year of a lot of growth for me as a content creator, just in general. I ventured out last year, the tail end of last year, 2017-ish, going into 2018 with YouTube, and I grew that out, and that has expanded nicely. So I learned a great deal from that. I expanded out and experimented with some things as far as the Comic Book Savant extra episodes that I tested here. Then I moved that over to Patreon to be a more incentive based. Wanted to give you guys for the people that wanted to support the show, give them some extra incentives, not just being someone, asking for money. I wanted it to be value returned for your investment in and the content that I create. So, I've expanded doing that. I experimented and I learned a lot, got that going. And, it's just been when I look back at 2018, it was definitely a year of learning and me kind of, coming out of my comfort zone and kind of expanding into different areas and different zones. And because I let fear hold me back for so long, and I believe in what I do, and I do this with all my heart with the content that I create, because I just can't say it's not a podcast anymore. It's it's more. It's grown beyond that with the YouTube channel as well. So I just look at it now as a platform, comic books as a platform, not a podcast, not a YouTube channel. It's a platform. It's a focused content related platform, I guess, is the best way. Then I experimented. Me and Heath got together. We formed the Spinner Rack Bros. We're doing that. We're looking to definitely expand that in a lot of different ways going into this year of 2019, which was like a pleasant surprise. I've been a longtime friend with Heath. If you're not familiar, Heath Holland. If you haven't heard Spinner Rack Bros, we've done like 4 or 5-ish episodes. If you look back in the archives, the past few episodes, you can find them easily. We've had a blast doing that. Heath Holland, he does the website Serial at Midnight, and he also has the YouTube channel Serial at Midnight as well. He does comic stuff, physical media, retro related topics, retro gaming, movies, the whole been a long time friend of his. He was an early listener to the podcast. We became quick friends, and we've been friends for as long as I've been doing this show. I've been friends with him, and always wanted to work with him. And we had done different things in the past. He was did different podcasts years ago, and I appeared on certain podcasts and stuff he did. But he got away from podcasting for many years, and he was doing his Serial at Midnight website. And then about 2 years ago, he went on YouTube, and he's doing a fantastic job. And we just threw out the idea of us doing stuff together, because we never did anything just me and him. I was always he worked with other people, and I kind of did guest spots. And you guys responded extremely well to it. I've had a blast doing it. I really have to admit that it's been one of the most fulfilling things that I did the past year, just as far as a content creator. That I did, and I was really happy with, and you guys seemed happy with the results. So I've had a ton of fun, with that. I do apologize. I'm going to say this off the top. I apologize because it was stuff that I had planned to do closing out the year that, I was just having some issues again with my foot, and, my health concerns have been a big, roadblock or hurdle that I had to go through this year. Past couple of years, it's been tough. It's prevented me to do a lot in a lot of different areas of my life. But it's coming. I'm coming to the end of that whole thing. My foot is almost back to 100%. And I think it was a culmination. I was trying to push too hard to get so much out at the last minute. And then I kind of figured, people are with their families. My wife had time off of work, had vacation time. And sometimes you got to recenter and focus. I'm not just a content creator. I'm a husband. I'm a grandfather. I have other, I put a lot into this, but there's still other aspects of my life, and I kind of had to balance it out. And I always give others the advice that, sometimes you just have to take a break to not, and I wasn't that I was suffering from burnout or anything like that, but it was, I was pushing my body. I was, my foot was still trying to heal. And I think I was just pushing too hard, and I had to listen to my own advice that I constantly give to other people but I don't listen to myself. Because I'm OCD and just certain things bother me, but I had to take my own advice and kind of just step back and knew the content wasn't going anywhere. Everybody else is going to be busy during the holidays. The numbers show, most of the time during the holidays, the numbers kind of dip for the the podcast and stuff anyway, because other people are doing other things. They come back in the new year, they fall back into your regular routine, then you get caught up in things, but normally, we'll balance back out. But normally November, December, you can look at, I can look at the numbers, and it's always a dip this time of year because people are busy with families and there are other things in their life. So I was like, I don't think you guys, would hold it against me too much if I just kind of held back. And all that content is coming. I promise you guys, a Bumblebee review is coming. Aquaman review. All of this stuff is done. I just had to sit down and record it. As all, I got all my thoughts and feelings down on paper right after I saw the movies. The bullet points, whatever I want to talk about. So all that stuff is coming. There's a ton of content that I was trying to squeeze out. Like I said, it was just too much. It was too much of a schedule on me. And like I said, I was in a lot of pain, going back and forth to the doctor. And I just needed to break. I needed to break just to make sure that I didn't set myself back further by pushing myself too hard with me, trying to get to the tail end of getting my foot back to where it needed to be and just get myself right. So I laid back. I took it easy as I can for me being me, and try to relax a little bit. And I'm glad I took the break. It helped me think about a lot of stuff I still, after doing this for 13 and a half years at this point, right, roughly, we're getting there, about the halfway mark. I still love it. I love it so much. It's a big part of just who I am, and my essence and my being is about what I've built, and I want to continue to build. It's becoming more serious because I'm putting more time in it, and it's not just a hobby. Like I said, I've talked about it previously. It's like transforming it into more of a platform in a business, a sustaining thing in my life. Because, people always talk about, I've worked a lot of different jobs and, in a lot of different areas throughout my life. And, and I'm big into technology, but for a while, I got burnt out on tech. I did it for so much and so long, and I still love tech, but I don't love doing it and working in that field anymore. And it's kind of been hard because of health issues. So this is kind of like in the interim while I'm getting the rest of my life back together. This is my thing. This is my thing to do, and I want to make it into something. Need your guys' help to do that. But, the real focus for this year is structuring and organizing, and getting a better workflow down together, moving forward. And consistency is a big key, but I don't want to be consistent without the quality. I want to keep bringing you quality stuff that you guys and girls out there that have been listening to me and support me, that know me for. I'm not your, typical comic book podcast that just reviews books and just do this and that. I cover things that I feel like that are important in the comic book industry. I've did a lot of, I hit a lot of good topics, I felt like over the past year, that you guys really enjoy, talking about a state of the comic book industry. Then we followed it up with some of the conversations me and Heath had on Spinner Rack Bros about Warner Brothers. And then we talked about the comic book industry as well. Expanding into YouTube and suggesting different things on, YouTube, as far as the comic book genre for you guys to find and look into. I'm expanding in different areas, and I want to continue to diversify and give you guys the most me in the content that I'm giving you. So I don't want to be consistent without the quality. I want the consistency and the quality to remain at the level that I expect for myself, and you and everyone has become to expect from me by being a listener of the podcast. So that's a lot that I'm going to work on, and certain things take me longer than others, and I want to apologize up front because some of you have contacted me about the website, and a lot of you, being relatively new to the podcast, want to find the backlog of episodes, and I started working on it. It's not finished yet, and this is the one part of being a one-person team where, like, different stuff like this it takes longer, even with myself, because I'll be like, I can knock this out in a day, and then life happens. You have other stuff going on, and then you're recording podcasts, you're editing podcasts, you're recording videos, editing videos, posting both, Trying to do social media, which I'm still, I'm getting better, but I'm still not the best at, sometimes it prolongs it. So a website update is coming up where I'm going to just add a page that's just going to be a running list, and it'll be updated after each episode comes out. You'll see one, it's just going to be an index page from episode 0 to this is 408, from 0 to 408, where you just see like the title of the show. You click on the link and it'll take you to that corresponding page on the website where you can go in and listen to that episode. So I was working on that before I took my break. It got pretty far along, but it's kind of like a tedious process because I even have to go back through the whole site one episode by one episode to getting the titles and all that kind of stuff together. And then I got to get all the links together. So it's very time consuming, but I'm still working on it because it needs to be a structure in there. I have a search box up there that I built that's linked to a database that you can kind of search, but you guys were letting me know that certain things wouldn't come up, and it wasn't pulling up a lot of all the episodes. So this is one surefire way, and I might even take that search box down once I get that index page up, the episode index page up and running. I might take that search box down because if not everything is tagged properly, it's not going to come up. So it's not useful. So that is going to be incoming. My hope is to have it done by the end of January. So the end of this month, my hope is to have it totally knocked out and functional on the site for you guys to use in between to catching up on all the content that I got to record and shoot, playing catch up from the end of last year. So my hope is by the end of January, no later by the end of February, because it'll be a side project that I'll be working on a little bit each day, or moving it along to get it completed. Let's see, YouTube channel is going better than I ever expected. I didn't reach my goal. I wanted a goal of trying to hit 200 subscribers before the end of the year. It didn't happen. I think I'm like 180 or something like that. It's coming along, slowly but surely. If you listen to the podcast and you haven't checked out the YouTube channel, take a moment. I don't know. I mean, I know YouTube. I'm a YouTube head. I became a YouTube head like about 5 or 6 years ago. I watch a lot of content. Sometimes I feel like I watch more YouTube than I do regular TV now. And that's kind of what drew me to do something with the show on YouTube. But not everybody's on there. But if you play around on YouTube, this youtube.com/comic book savant, drop a subscribe, subscribe to the channel, check out the content. It's, things that I don't do as much here anymore. I kind of moved over there because they weren't the most popular things for the podcast, but I think works well on YouTube, like trade paperback reviews and, non-spoiler movie reviews, like quick little, stuff like that I can do there. And more longer form and in-depth content I can do here on the podcast. And that's what the podcast is for, and that's what it's about. So I try to keep the content relatively short-ish there. Then I have the one series, the Comic Book Collector's Guide, that has really taken off on the channel, and really the centerpiece of the YouTube channel is a Comic Book Collector's Guide, which is basically just an instructional kind of thing that I do that just talks about, it's stuff that I've talked about here before, but it's just incorporating it into a series that I'm doing on YouTube, where I just talk in depth about, if you're new to collecting comics and the comic books as a hobby, do's and don'ts, things that give you tips on things to do, how to search for some of the best deals. I talk about digital comics. I talk about the different sites like In Stock Trades. I talk about different services like Marvel Unlimited, DC Universe, Comixology Unlimited, all those kind of different things that just are related to the hobby of comics and collecting comics. I talk about in the Comic Books Collector's Guide. It's caught on, and it's been the most successful thing through the website is that series. It's been really popular, and that has taken off. That's helped the channel, gain some traction quite a bit. Again, I learned I was trying to find my way, but that struck, and that's a poll for a lot of people. That series on there, so definitely if you want to check that out, stop by and check it out. Again, with Patreon, it's becoming increasingly important because, again, like I said, this is my primary thing that I'm doing right now. And not everyone can. And and it's kind of crazy because different people have reached out to me and said, hey, I would love to support you. But just financially it's hard. Everybody has hard times. I totally understand that. But I want you guys to understand as little as $1 a month, just my becoming a Patreon at that base level amount, you get access to the Comic Book Savant extra fees that I do weekly episodes there. So you get more content, and it's different tiers if you want, more stuff. Like if you do like $5 or more, like, you get credit on the, the YouTube videos I do. So it's different tiers to it. And I'm looking to even add more stuff as I go along. It's just actually when I was talking to my wife, and I hope I'm not rambling too much. When I talked to my wife today, when we were on the phone, when she was on her way to work, we were just talking, and the whole thing just came up in my head about this whole episode. So a lot of this is just really off the cuff and just emotion and thoughts that are in my head that, growing things out to give even more reward to you guys that have supported me. Like the Patreons, the patrons have grown. I had one. I got 4 now. So it's coming along slowly but surely. And, the reasoning behind that, and I talk about the Patreon, and I don't talk about it as much because I'm not, I'm not a salesperson. I'm a content creator. I kind of hate even bringing it up, but it's important because especially in this year, I'm looking to move away from certain stuff. I don't like doing the whole pre-read ad at the beginning of the episodes. I'm not a fan of it. I do it because it brings in a small amount of revenue that helps me maintain the show. My hope is that you guys that listen, you guys and girls that listen, that support me, you become the sponsors for the show, and I could do away with that kind of stuff. I know you get tired of hearing it. I've gotten people that clown me and joke about, how scripted it sounds. And the funniest thing is, it's not scripted. I do it off the top of my head every single time. I came up with my own spiel. I run it down. It's committed to memory, and I have a horrible memory in most cases, but I know that spiel. And I want to kind of break away from that, if possible. But, I need the patrons to kind of supplement that income that I get from that to be able to do that and it not be an issue. So that's where your support is, where it comes into play, where it's so helpful, even at that dollar amount. I know not everybody can contribute $5, $10, all that other kind of stuff. And I wouldn't want you to. If you only can spare $1 a month, spare $1 a month. You get, I hope you enjoy the Comic Books Savant extra episodes. If you enjoyed them before, I'm doing the same kind of episodes and content. It's just there. Again, it's there to be an incentive base, even at that lowest amount at $1 a month, that you contribute and you get something that I hope that you would think that $1 you're giving a month is worth, the 4 extra episodes of the podcast that you're going to get on that Patreon specific feed. And it goes a long way. If everybody, contributes a little bit, that little bit in perpetuity with enough people goes a long way. You guys, just even with the 4 patrons I have, it helps a ton just with little stuff. When it's like a book or something I want to review, I could take that, or a movie I want to review or things like that. It just, it's little steps that go into the content that I create that it allows me to do. So, if you haven't considered it, go to patreon.com/Comic Book Savant. Patreon is spelled patreon.com/Comic Book Savant. Check out the page. You'll see the different tiers. But like I said, even for just $1 a month, it goes a long way to help support the show, and you get some good content for your money. So if you feel like it's worth it, check it out and sign up for it. Live streaming. I want to do, Heath has I've watched him live stream, and he kind of has me curious about doing it. And we might want to do some live streaming stuff with Spinnerack Bros. as well. So it's something we're looking to do. He's had a lot of success with him live streaming. He said, you know, and I'm such a techie. He was like, why don't you try it? I'm kind of scared to death of it. But watching his live streams have kind of made me a little bit curious about it, and I'm willing to give it a try. So I'm looking to get all the equipment and everything in line to start doing a few live streams, maybe one a month or something like that, or one every other month on the YouTube channel. So that's something I'm definitely looking to do in 2019 as well. I always, you know, I'm going to try to get better on social media, but again, I'm spread kind of thin being a one person team. So, you know, bear with me on that. I have to conquer Twitter. I feel like I understand Instagram. I still don't get Twitter nearly as much, and I don't really get as many. I get more responses or from Instagram than I ever do on Twitter. So I will post stuff from Instagram over to Twitter, but I don't really post directly on Twitter. And, you know, you guys tell me, do you want me to interact more on Twitter? I will post more. I live a pretty boring life because I'm constantly at home, and I'm either working on the show or, you know, doing family stuff, doing home stuff, you know, coming up with ideas for more content for the show, the YouTube channel, the podcast. So my life is pretty boring. So that's why I don't like post a ton, because my life is relatively boring. I don't want to say boring. But if you want me to post more, show more behind the scenes stuff, let me know. Also look at the Facebook group. If you do, it's Comic Book Savant discussion group. You just request to join. I'll approve you. And I try to interact a lot there. The group is relatively small. It's about 20, 21 people. But that's one way you can interact with me as well and give feedback or let me know, like, hey, can you cover this? And I can work it into the show. So that's definitely, I want to do more of that. I'm going to want to interact with you guys more to kind of gauge, where your head's at on the content that I'm creating. And like I said, feedback is king. Feedback more than anything is just so vital to a content creator, because I can dictate and pivot and change up where I'm going based on getting feedback from you guys and see what you guys enjoy or what I can do more of. I'm flexible when it comes to that. Certain things that I'm passionate about that I feel like I'll have to cover or it's in my head to cover. But other things too, I'm open to suggestions to what you guys want to hear. You know, if you want to hear my opinions on a certain story or a certain book, I'm willing, you know, let it be known that I'm not a huge horror fan, though I like The Walking Dead. I'm not like a huge horror comic person or horror movie person. It's just content I don't enjoy, so I don't consume it. But besides that, I'm pretty much open to anything else. So, like I said, feedback is king. You can always, you know, hit me up on, and a lot of you guys have done this. I've heard more from you guys from like Facebook and Instagram, but even on Twitter, like sometimes people have hit me up on Twitter. If you send me a message, as soon as I get the alert or I see it, I will respond to you immediately to let you know I got it and respond in, you know, an appropriate manner. That's all I really have for you guys. Is I'm just kind of laying it out there, letting you know where my head is at. I feel good. I feel good going into this year. I probably have felt better health-wise, mentally, just all the way around. I'm in a good spot. And I'm ready to hit the ground running and, you know, just keeping the momentum moving forward that I created for myself with your guys' help last year in 2018 in this new year of 2019, and just keep growing the Comic Book Savant brand and getting as many eyes and ears on the content as possible and keep it going. So I need you guys' help for that. Again, Patreon's a thing. If not, it's also, if you go to the website, if you just want to do a one-time donation at PayPal and drop whatever you feel, it's not a set amount. Like I said, with Patreon, it's kind of like, it's just tiers, but you can set like different amount. But like if you the base amount is $1. You can go between tiers, and like if you want to donate 2 a month or 3, you can do that. But it's certain like goals or tiers that I have. Like if you do $1, if you do like 3, or then do like 5, and I think like 10, and it, goes from there. But again, I'm not trying to take all your money, but I do need some of it though to help keep this going, keep doing that good stuff. So if you can spare some change, please. Like Tiny Tim with the cup. I'm not on a crutch anymore because my foot's better, but I'm saying, I could be on the corner with that, big black man with a crutch, with a hat to the side. May I have some more, please? I'll do it. If y'all want me to do it, I'll humiliate myself to do it. You know what I'm saying? I need a little help. Brother needs some help. But we're going to do it. We're going to keep having fun. I thank you guys so much. The love for this past year has been phenomenal. You guys have just made all of this worthwhile. Like I'm really, feeling it, not just from the podcast, but the, different people that have found the show through YouTube. They've been they've been giving a lot of feedback. So I want to hear more from you guys, as well as the people that the YouTube, family as well. This community is growing in ways that I didn't think, I thought it couldn't anymore, how it used to be early on. When I started the show years ago. So it's getting back there slowly and surely. I think we have a great community here, and I want to keep growing it and fostering it in the right direction. So with your guys' help, I think we can do it. And all that being said, I'm going to quit talking you to death right now. This is just the update that I wanted to drop. Content will be dropping next week. Again, my whole plan for this year is to keep the content releasing pretty regular. Normally get a new episode like, Tuesday mornings. If you are on the Patreon, I normally drop new episodes on the Patreon feed. I think Thursdays are pretty much when those drop, Thursday mornings. And YouTube is normally, I want to say Thursday as well, Thursday night, or Thursday into Friday, or Thursday night as well, I think, if I remember correctly. It's pretty much like the release schedule. So, I'm looking to keep all that the same. I'm not looking to change that in any way moving forward. So all that stuff will remain the same. Again, hit me up on Twitter, Instagram at Comic Book Savant. Check out the Facebook page. It's facebook.com/Comic Book Savant. And then it'll be linked to the Facebook group from there too. It's connected to the page, so you can go there and then click on the link and go right over to the Facebook group and request to be a member, and I will add you. Again, have a happy new year, and I will talk to you guys next week for another episode of Comic Book Savant. Take care.